Testing 1, 2, 1, 2. And we're going. Come on. Slide that shit back, man. All right, we ready? We ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. It's the Romello Marcellous show. The fly uncle you always wish you had. Bring them out. Here to give you every aspect of game from a real player's perspective. It's the biggest boss from business, entertainment, love, and life. Had to find my inner power. To fashion, etiquette, and current events. Major show alert. All to enhance the happiness already inside you. Today is about the power of you. Check it out. You now rocking with the best.
Here I am, goddammit. Here I am. Want to say good morning, everybody. I took a few moments off yesterday to regather some things, get some things I needed to get together. Every now and again, we need to do that. But I'd like to welcome y'all to the show today. Interesting topics. I want to see if I can enlighten you guys. Or, well, whether you enlighten me as well. I want to give a shout out to a good friend of mine who actually reached out to me yesterday and kind of told me how he felt about the show and the platform and having an opportunity to do this and give people a platform that look like us to just come together, man, and talk about good things. Whatever it is, we don't know it all, so it's good to seek advice and opportunities to get the things we need to know from each other. So, with that said and done, I'm going to get right along into the day. For all of us, or all of those that live in D.C., there's a great thing, I guess, going on with within the entertainment sector. So, as we move along, we'll get on into the bones of things. Spike Lee is directing a movie, a biopic for Marion Barry. And it's been green-lighted. It's an A-list movie. Eddie Murphy's actually been cast to play Marion Barry. How do you feel about that? Do you think we need somebody stronger, like a Samuel L. Jackson, to play his part? Or do you think Eddie can handle that? I think it's an awesome thing that Eddie's actually been chosen to do it. Being in Marion Barry was a very, very energetic being, strong black man. Wasn't perfect. None of us were, and none of us are. But He's a brother. Shout out to all the distinguished six. You know who you are. Keep it icy. Anywho, today's topic is one that we're still dealing with on a regular. The question of the day is credit, and why was it conspired to be kept away from black people? Credit, and why was it conspired to be kept away from black people? As you know, the first credit card was a Diners Club card, which was set up for the middle class, middle-aged white salesman who would travel around, and it was a means to him to offset the cost of eating and traveling. And that was the first credit card. That was put together without us in mind, and it's still that way today. It affects us. The sub-question is, and how it affects us based on our zip code to this very day. It affects us greatly by the things that we do through the census. Whether we do the census or not, it gives them an opportunity, or whoever the powers that be, an opportunity to see where we are with our household mediums. What are we making? What taxes are we filing? What insurances are we carrying, if any? Ownership. As someone who's been around the real estate game for some time, I understand what it is to watch the rolls. If I'm looking to buy a property, I look at properties or areas that have the most cash deals. These areas are usually in redlined areas. Redlined areas. For those of you who don't know what redlining is a way to keep you from it. With regards to banks, redlining was used to refuse loans and insurance, based on an area that you lived in. The housing and mortgage industry would use it to suppress minority populations from receiving home loans to buy loans in other neighborhoods, and also keep you from being able to repair the home that you lived in, which further, this is my opinion, don't quote me, there's always a method to the madness. To keep you impoverished further gives me an opportunity to create what we now call opportunity zones, where, because it's impoverished and below the medium of earnings or value, I can gain the tax break. Prime example, opportunity zones now, where you could buy commercial properties or multi-use buildings in, let's say you buy in West Baltimore. Shout out to everybody up there. Hey, you can buy that property and hold on to it, and the first 10 years your tax break would be exponential. But the gratis of it all is that the longer you hold that, the more forgiveness that you see on that. And let's say it were 20 years that passed, just giving a number, you could actually pull those funds out of there and not be taxed on that property or on those returns. The longer you leave it there, the less you pay in capital gains. Yes, they would literally draw a red line on the map. Now, I don't know whether or not you've seen this movie called The Banker. It was based on a true story. Joseph Morris and Bernard Garrett were actually two guys who understood the banking and the real estate aspect of, business. And they sought to buy banks or buy a bank. But they needed a face. They utilized the face to do the bank or buy the bank. But the person that they utilized got a little ahead of themselves and bought a bundle of bad mortgages. And the profit of those mortgages exposed their plan, and they were convicted. But the problem wasn't the fact that they bought those banks; it was the fact that they were loaning monies to black businesses and homeowners in Texas at the time, which was unheard of. I'll say this, that I don't know of many black banks in this area. I think one is Industrial Bank. There are a few others, but just off the top of my head, who actually I see doing things in the black communities. It's a sad thing that we are constantly being kept out of the running by these things. So, anyone have input about why they would keep credit from us? Always a bigger plan. State it. Leverage is power. You're right. I'll give you an example. There's an area just outside of the DC hub that is, I guess, revered to be a good place to buy homes. And you have people that are actually going to new developments and buying homes for $500,000, $600,000. And there are some people who are unaware and actually go in and build into the house, the amenities that they want, and, try to build value into it, without realizing that it is a red-lined area and is considered moderate to low-income housing. Keeping us from opportunity perpetuates struggle. Exactly. Right on the nose. But someone said that without struggle, there's no progress. How y'all feeling today? Everybody feeling all right? Everybody good? Got all your fingers, toes, you can see, you can hear. Yeah, there were multiple counts. They only got convicted on, I think, two of the counts. Their face walked. He didn't do any time. Progress for who, though? Well, I'm not a firm believer that progress is in struggle. Progress is in progress. I don't like the struggle. Working too hard, I like to work smart. The thing is, these guys had a plan. Plan wasn't foolproof, so, at some point in time, you got to say they planned to fail. They entrusted somebody who was not cut like them. And you can't do that and expect to win. Learning is in struggle. Okay? Please enlighten me. Learning is in struggle. Okay? Well, I guess you can get lessons from struggle, but why struggle if you don't have to? How many have financial plans to succeed or to have a savings within the next year or the next 12 months? How many? By show of check. Where my wet people at, man? Y'all in here? I know y'all here. I tell you what. I'll give you one of my secrets, right? I started by setting up an emergency fund. Okay? A mere $1,000 a year is what I would set aside. I'd pay off small debts using the snowball effect, like I was explaining, the multiple payments. And then I would try and set aside at least 3 to 6 months of expenses aside. These small expenses. Kind of gauging with my electric, my water, those kind of things, and set that aside. And then I would take 15% of my net income and drop it in my Roth IRA. Here's my disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor or anything, but I'm just sharing some tidbits. Disclaimer. Boom. Do your homework. Get your professionals around you, your lawyers, your accountants, financial planners, estate planners. I would pay off things earlier, kind of just to keep myself ahead. Give you an example. All right. Let's just say you're 25 years old. $100 per month into your retirement at 12%. By the time you turn 65, that's like $1.7 million in your retirement fund. Now, let's say if you're up in age and you're 46, okay? 46 to 65. And let's say you got to step your savings up. Let's say you're setting aside $2,000 a year into your retirement at 12%. I mean, you'll have over $100,000, close to $150,000. I mean, that's something to supplement that fixed income you'll have. But you got to do something. You can't just paycheck it to paycheck it, like a lot of us are doing out here. And get you some property. Own something other than a car. Even if you're buying something to hold, rent, find a consortium, one of the REIs or the Reichs or one of those little groups. Become an investor. Take on partnerships. Get in, get out. At least you're somewhere on somebody's deed of trust. Financial Peace University. Where's that school? Dave Ramsey. Okay. I'll do my homework on that, on him, see who he is, what he's about. Always set up your small business. Here's what I wait on. Here's what I wait on. I have two things in place, which allows me to do things for me. I have a crummy trust. And also, I have a 2503B, which allows me to gift myself once a year. So, how I get things into those trusts is I have a captive insurance. There are people who actually have captive insurances where you can make 200 grand a year, just $250,000 a year, 200 grand a year, and pay approximately $9,800 on it and float the rest. People do it all the time, and it's perfectly legal. The segue was to say that you can finance yourself in the things that you want to do without having to deal with banks and acquire credit if that's not what you want to do. A lot of people are like that because they don't want people in their business. You have to expose your hand to some degree to obtain things from people, loans. Oh, A-Rock in the building. A-Rock is tuning in this morning. I guess you don't have a session this morning, huh? Oh. Jill just tuned in. Hey, cuz. So, question of the day once again is why credit was conspired to be kept from us. Why credit was conspired to be kept from us. I mean, I stated retrospectively the other day. The truth is that to keep us as consumers without ownership, because we're impulse buyers. The thing is, the majority of stuff we buy doesn't have value. We buy it as status pieces to make us feel good about ourselves because we don't feel good about ourselves as a whole, as opposed to really being a part of the ownership. We want the instant gratification of feelings or feeling good. So it's easier to subdue people that way. To keep the person that you're renting from 9 times out of 10 doesn't even look like you. Can't respect where you come from, the struggles you have. Nothing. So who is Dave Ramsey? What is he about? Financial Peace University. Yes, people are still being redlined today. Well, just beyond the DC line, look at it in PG County. Capitol Heights, Temple Hills. Here from Baltimore. Look at the lower side of West Baltimore, Saratoga, Payson, all those areas. Philly. certain parts of Philly. On the other side of Broad, north, west. Harlem was the breeding ground. Started there. So the brother, Mr. Payton, went through and went in and started to buy up all the buildings from them and then sold back to us. I don't believe in debt of any kind myself. So he's got to be good. So I'm going to check him out. I'm going to check Dave Ramsey out. How many believe in paying yourself first? A lot don't. They believe in paying everyone else and then pay themselves. I believe if you work 40, 60, 80 hours or whatever, a pay period, you should be the first to get a taste of your money. Now your payment shouldn't be, if you owe people and you have to do things with it, you shouldn't take any more than 25% of your paycheck for yourself. You do any more than that, you don't have anything anyway. Just an opinion. Please consult your professionals. Got to put that disclaimer out there once again. How healthy are your finances? If you're working every day, you can save some money. You can put it aside. You have to decide what your expenditures are and what those are, which expenditures are important. And if your daily living expenses, your mortgage, rent, if you have a car note, insurance, those are necessities to make your life go. If what you're making is not covering those and leaving you any extra, then you need to rethink that, or you need to rethink your earnings. You need to get you another cash stream. I stated before on the show, everyone should have at least 5 to 6 cash streams, different ones that can supplement the gaps that may occur in the midst of your daily working. You think about it. Job's not guaranteed. You can walk in tomorrow and they say, hey, today's going to be your last day. What are you going to do? You should always be able to touch a couple $100 with whatever you're doing. If it's baking pies, watching children, washing clothes, running errands, whatever it is, you should be able to have at least 5 to 6 different cash streams. I promise you, if you focus on it, at least one of those cash streams will make more than you make at your 40-hour-a-week job. And that's facts. I've always said, in business for yourself, okay, prime example. Someone may say, I make $200,000 a year. How much of that 200 grand are they bringing home? It's touched, it's whacked up, a whole bunch. But you make $80,000 a year for yourself on your business. And you touch that money before anyone else touches it. Who's more powerful? Exactly. The person with the liquid is more powerful. They have the opportunity to, if there is any debts to be paid, pay their debts faster, build their credits, establish things that they need to establish to build those other cash streams, as opposed to an individual who's making that money on paper, but shit, you don't have any kids, you don't have any tax breaks, they're taking a serious chunk out of your behind. And then you're waiting every 2 weeks to get it. Some people wait every month. So, give me the cash. I can manage my own cash. credit, you should establish some. I mean, you don't even have to really have good credit to get credit, but that's the conflict. If you don't have credit, who's gonna really offer you their credit to fuck up my? Hey, I'm gonna co-sign for you to fuck my credit up. Nobody. It's far few in between with people you know. How do you work around redlining? You don't. You can't control the plan. The plan, it is what it is, unless you're going to buy it up and then redistribute it. But I mean, that is a plan. You can. I mean, let me retract that. You can do anything you choose to do if you choose to go that route. It's been done, but at some point in time, those people are going to come see about you and shut you down. How do you work around redlining? Well, buy yourself out of a redlined area. That's working itself. Don't buy in a redline area. Figure out which areas are redlined, and don't buy there unless you're buying to hold and maybe give someone else an opportunity to get a leg up. Don't just be a slumlord or give me my money on the first person. I mean, you can do what you like, but yeah. Yeah, you have to establish your credit. Well, there are so many ways to do it. If you don't have anything on your credit, and if you have some things on there, you got to clean that up first. And you can go and get with some primary companies. There are primaries out here that will offer you lines of credit, trade lines of credit to boost your scores. Now the other thing is, what's your income looking like? Do you have the income to back up what you're looking to purchase? i.e., you should have those other cash streams and report it. File the taxes on it. Most people, they set up business and don't file the taxes on those businesses. File the taxes on the businesses. Even if you made $5, file your taxes. Shows that your business is in good standing, for one. That way when you're able to really decide to play, you can play with the big boys and say, look, I want my business to be worth $2 million. And let's say you brought in the money. Look at it. The king's ransom is all of 25%. If you can pay it, set up an arrangement and pay it, hey, they'll report it. That way when you walk into a bank or a situation, sure, they'll give you whatever you want based on your net worth because you paid the taxes on those funds. This is how you create net worth. You know, these people walking around, oh, he's worth $100 million and so on and so forth. He's paid the taxes or she's paid the taxes on that money. It's not they got it in the bank, but they've earned some money. They've earned enough to pay the taxes on that money. So, I mean, you can do it on a small level too. If you're looking to buy a home, buy a business, you know that you're going to be spending, you know, the business or the home is worth $300,000 or $400,000, $500,000. You know, you're going to need to make some money. So you got to get yourself in a position to report that income. So if you had a small business and you're willing to, you know, claim those profit and loss statements, and pay the taxes on those earnings, then that gives you the income you need to obtain the things that you want to obtain. So don't play around with it. Time is not of the essence. It is borrowed at this point. So much is going on. No, business ownership is not for everybody. Well, what are you willing to sacrifice for peace of mind? Peace of mind and ownership, they go hand in hand. Think about it. You own it. They can't put you out of it. The only person who can put you out of it is you. And even if you defaulted on it, shit, you got up a year. You got over it. Matter of fact, now, shit, you got even longer potentially to rectify your situation, to even sell. So, even redlining still affects every aspect of where you live today. The quality of schools, transit. You notice in low income to medium areas, there's always mass transit. If you go out to areas that are above that, you don't see that shit. What you'll actually see here are carpool areas, huge parking lots, and maybe one or two buses that may run in there during the rush hours. And that's it. You won't see any subways or bus stops as you driving down the roads. And that's done for a reason. Those things decrease value in properties or in the areas. No, they're not amenities. The only time they're amenities are when they're in the midst of the urban area, meaning the actual city, the municipal blocks, where the work zones are, the offices, the entertainment hubs in the cities. That's the only time that it becomes an amenity, and the places that are there are not considered co-ops or apartments. They're condos and that kind of thing. The names of those things change. Crummy's Trust. CRUMMYS. That's for those of you who have kids, nieces, nephews, grandchildren. There's your benefit. Yeah, they can't look at it. Nothing they can see. Your mind is holding you down. Best investment you could ever make. See, this summer when I break out, my grandbaby is going to buy Pop his new Porsche and a new boat. Yep, the 2503B or the crummies. And once you set it up, you understand that you are the executor of the estate. So you're entitled to a salary from management or a gift. But consult your professionals, get your attorney, your estate planner, accountant. This is if you're making that money and you need to roll it into things, yeah. But you're going to need to have actually a captive insurance set up as well. A captive insurance is basically like your Geico to your business. You're your actual own insurer. The downside is, and it's not that it's a downside, but the only downside they consider is that you're actually risking your own funds that you put into it. So let's say you set up your business and you set up your captive insurance. You are actually insuring your business. So within 1 year's time, if there are no claims filed against your business, you can keep up to $1.6 million of those funds. And you offset them, and your write-off is basically you're paying a premium. So it's a double benefit. So the business actually holds the $1.6 million or whatever it is you put into it, and then you write it off as I paid this bill. So it's a tax break. At the end of the year, then you gift it to the trust. But once again, consult your professionals. Get you an attorney, accountant, estate planner. Now you can do it with a little money, do it with your big money. You can your tax return, whatever you're doing. Yeah, as a supplement, you should have two other things going with that. Most people do their retirement where they can have their 401. So if you were a small business owner, you should set up a 401k Diamond Solo, which will actually act as your first form of retirement, which you can invest. And then you just set up a regular 401k to deposit your funds to keep. The 401k Solo is actually an asset that you can utilize to leverage to buy things like your properties, investments in your business, that kind of thing. If not, then you can pay it forward to the captive and then pull it at the end of the year or the beginning of the next fiscal year, which for most people is usually after tax season. So right around May, June, most people tap into their trusts. You get their little checks or their perks, and depending on what's there, some of them are cool for the year. Yeah. Once again, that's a Crummies Trust. CRUMMYS. Or check into the 2503B. These are things you can utilize to purchase property if you're in red-lined areas. It's called table funding. That's what it is. And this was to answer your question earlier. The person asked me, what can you do to work around redlining? You got to buy it up, purchase in it or purchase out of it. The question today for all those that are joining again is credit and why it was conspired to be kept from black people. Also, and how is it still affects us today based on our zip code with the application of redlining as well. Most of us are living, or a lot of us are living in redline districts and we don't even know it. We think we got a nice beautiful home and the whole time long you got robbed and they didn't even use a gun. And you're sitting there with a redlined home that you couldn't even give away for half of what you paid for it. Figure. What's up, Sway? So, set up those businesses, get those cash streams going. Do something you love to do. That way it's not work. Whatever you can do. There are people that still will wash your clothes for a couple dollars as a side hustle. Don't be too ashamed to hustle. Get that dollar. You got health and strength in your body. Make it happen. Yeah, both of those guys, they made it home. They still had some money, I'm sure. When they attached the forfeitures to them, I'm sure they were set up properly. Joseph Morris and Bernard Garrett. Yeah. Yeah, people begin to, even though you may not have or think you have any assets, still set the stuff up, man. Get yourself prepared or get the information to protect your assets. And you're all gonna get old if you're alive as long as you're alive. You're gonna get old. You put yourself in a position to take care of yourself, because the government ain't gonna take care of you. So once again, the question today has been credit and why was it conspired to be kept away from blacks? As the biggest consumers of the world, we're just now really, as a people, coming into obtaining and using credit. And it's sad because those that are using it now, they're still abusing it because you're not really buying anything of value. We still don't own anything. Do we own a stadium or an arena or a hospital or a school? A school that's not government funded. Those are the things that we should be investing in infrastructure, our own infrastructure. This is what will take us out of that situation or that thought that we're being redlined when we control the line. If we control the line, what they say about it doesn't mean jack. We're benefiting from it. I say it once again, look at places like Tulsa, how they were. Look at Charlotte. A lot of those places were self-sustainable, and they weren't playing around with it. They had their own schools, their own everything, own stores, So that's how you work around red line. You got to buy the line. Prepare yourself to buy the line or be able to contribute to the purchase of the line. I don't know about you, but I've seen where in my time where my parents had bought homes and moved to the neighborhood, and next thing you know, the neighbors were gone. My home that I have, well, here's an example. I've had neighbors throw up fences around their homes when I moved in the neighborhood because I was the only one there that looked like me. Because I decided to move beyond the line. But those are the things you deal with. It was funny to me. And every day, to this day, I'd still walk outside and say, hey. So, equip yourself, get yourself knowledgeable, establish you some credit. You don't got no credit, get some. Find these primary lines about here, man. It'll float you $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 in a line to sit on your credit for $99 a month. Have your score looking good. Get you at least $20,000 or $30,000 in trade lines out there, or lines, primary lines. Have you looking good. And then buy you a few trade lines if you don't have anybody to piggyback you on their credit. But once again, I'm not a professional. Please consult a professional, a lawyer, attorney, accountant, estate planner. Decide what you want to do with it before you start to go at it. What's your end game? Is it just to buy things or buy cars and jewelry and stuff? If that's your goal, don't go down that road. Don't waste it. Don't waste it. You're in the way. If you want to go out and do something, open up something, open up a business or buy a home or buy some property, buy a multi-unit building to do some sort of community project where you're housing some battered women and abused children. All right. Go get that. Well, it's 11:55 and it is Thursday. Tomorrow's going to be a fun day. No heavy topics. And we're just going to enjoy it. Actually, I'm a DJ a little bit tomorrow, man. We just gonna party. We're gonna rock out. Talk to y'all about some things that y'all got going on. Let y'all call in tomorrow. The line will be set up tomorrow so I can hear y'all voices and I can click y'all in through my teams. Been working out the kinks, but the kinks have worked out. So this will be the last show like this. And I just thank y'all for tuning in. Hope y'all have enjoyed me as much as I've enjoyed you guys. And whatever you're doing, keep doing it. As I say every day. People thought Noah was crazy until it started to rain. So whatever your dream is, keep pushing, keep going, keep growing. Go get it. Don't let anybody stop you. Because only you can stop you. Plan. Don't plan to fail. All right. So with that said and done, I am going to let you go on and have your day to yourselves. And I'm going to get out the way because I got things to do too.
It's the Romello Marcellous show. The fly on who you always wish you had. Gonna give you every aspect of game from a real player's perspective. life,
had to find my inner power.
to fashion, etiquette, and current events.
Major show alert!
All to enhance the happiness already inside you.
Today is about the power of you. Check it out.